Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at a very big kit because this is basically like two kits in one, neither of which is necessarily, I guess, all that big, but it's a very big box here, as you can see. This is from Aoshima. This is a part of their ACKS line of V.F.G, or Variable Fighter Girls from Macross. This is the VF-25F Messiah Ranka Lee set here. So beautiful box art on the front. We'll go ahead and take a look at all that and the contents and everything, and then we'll get into the review. And just really amazing. I just want to stress how awesome this box art looks. It's so colorful and vibrant. The illustration work is amazing. You've got the Macross 40th anniversary logo up there. Yeah, just want to make sure I give you guys a really nice look at how great this box art looks, and again, just how all the detail and everything looks with all the colors and everything going on in the background. It looks really awesome. On the ends of the box, just got this same artwork here, VF-G, Messiah, Ranka Lee version. On the one side of the box, we got to look at the variable fighter here in fighter mode, and then with the two of them combined in a Batroid mode and a Gerwalk mode there. Of course, you can have that as fully transformable. And then you also have some special bonus parts too, which looks like you can make Ranka Lee there with just like a folded up version on her backpack, which is very cool. So that's pretty awesome. Looks like there's going to be a lot to have fun with in this kit. So you got different face options, which are just fine. They're not really all that amazing, to be honest. I kind of wish that one of the face options would be a little bit more reflective of this face that we have here on the front of the box. Closest thing, I guess, we have like this one right there in the middle, but anyway, we'll see that some more in the review. We also have some stickers, of course, like any Macross kit. It has a mountain of stickers and some water slide decals there as well. On the other side of the box here, not much to see, so we'll go ahead and open it up. And as you can hopefully tell, this is a pretty large box, so there's going to be a ton of parts in here because it's basically like two very parts heavy kits put together in this one box. So we'll go through all the runners in just a moment. Let's just take a peek at the stickers here first off. Here's your two foil sticker sheets, which are pretty large. And on the outside of the box, they made it look like the water slide decal sheet was about the same size, but as you can see, in comparison, the water slides are pretty small. But you do have some nice colors and details on there, so those will make for some nice logos to go around on the kit. As for our instruction manual here, it's in horizontal format, but there you have the full box art. Really would have been awesome if they would have also given like a mini poster of this box art. I would have loved that. That would have been really nice to have. But going around on the back side, this is just a sticker marking guide here, so there's probably a couple of pages of that, I would assume, or maybe just the one, I don't know. Because here at the back is also our parts list, which is normally in the front, but if we go back to the front, we have lots of photos. So lots of photos of the different forms that you can build this in, and front and back, and some more photos here on this side, action poses and everything with the carrot gun, which is amusing. The next page then is just getting on into the construction. So it looks like we're building the figure aspect of it first. That'll probably just take a few pages. The weapons for her, and then we move on to the build of the Messiah itself, and then it'll be all the transformation and everything like that towards the back here. And that's it for the manual. Let's go ahead and take a look at the runners. First up, here are our face option parts, which do look pretty nice. I think they look better than they were portrayed on the outside of the box, I think, but we'll see how they look on the kit in just a moment. And here's all of our hand option parts. We've got 3 runners of these, 2 in black, 1 in flesh tone. So you see you've also got some feet parts on there, as well as some really interesting options there for your hand option parts. Oh, I take that back. Actually, there's 2 in black and 2 in flesh tones. So it looks like all the same parts that you have in black, you have the same options for those in flesh tone as well for all the hands, and then the feet as well. Getting into the runners, the first half are all going to be for the Messiah. The second half are all going to be for Ranka Lee. So here are all your white parts right off the bat. There's runner A, B, C, D, E, E2, F, and G for a bunch of white parts there. Runners H and H2 are here in black. Runners I and IR are in this very interesting molded kind of metallic brown color. It's quite unique. Runner J is a few more pieces there in white for the hand covers basically. And then in a slightly bluish dark gray color here we have all of the mechanical parts for the variable fighter. So here's runner K, L, M, N, N3, O, O, P, P2. And here on runners Q and Q2, you have your clear purple parts and your clear green parts. Runner R is going to be a few pieces here in red. Runner S is some weapons parts here in a bluish gray color. Same thing for runner SC, but we have the SC runner also in this orangish red color for your carrot gun. But if you did want to have that just in that bluish gray color, you have the same parts here for that. We have a T-runner here in black, which is just a bunch of joint parts there, it looks like. But then we have another T-runner in flesh tone, which has all those same parts plus some more joint parts there at the bottom. Runner U is some more parts here in flesh tone. And then runners V, V2, and V3 we have both in black or in flesh tone. So this is going to be parts like for your arms and legs. If you wanted to have them to look covered, you can build them in black, or if you want to have them to look bare, you can build them in flesh tone. Next up, runner W is here for some more pieces in black. Runner X is going to be all of our green parts there, mostly for the hair. Runner Y is going to be some parts here in pink for the clothing, including some pre-painted black there for the pants. Runner Y2 is a few more pieces here in that orangish red color. And lastly, runners Z and Z2 are going to be some more parts here in white. This looks to be like maybe some of the bonus parts here on this one, but that's it. Okay guys, now getting into the review portion of this video, I'll just tell you that I've had this kit built and sitting here for months, and it's just taken me a really long time to get into doing this review, because honestly this is not an easy kit to review just because it's so different and made up of all these different parts and everything. So we're going to do the review a little bit differently, okay? So rather than kind of reviewing the kit as a whole, we're going to just go through each particular section, taking a look at them separately. Here is the VF-25F all built up, and here's Ranka Lee all built up. So we'll take a look at these parts kind of individually, separately, and then we'll take a look at the Gerwalk mode, and then we'll take a look at the Batroid mode and combine and everything. So it's going to be a little bit different. There'll be time codes down below if you guys didn't notice, so you can kind of skip around. If there's a particular form that you're interested in seeing, you can do that. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get right into it. So we'll start off here just by taking a look at Ranka in her kind of fully armored form here. Really cool design just to this aspect of the kit. I like it. I like that the clear green part there for the visor is clear enough that you can still see your eyes. A lot of times in kits like this, when they have a visor part, then to make it so that then you can't really see the face at all. But I like this one that it's clear enough that it makes for a cool effect. You have the folded up fighter here as a backpack on her backpack, this little mini one. Obviously it's missing a lot of color, but all the details there molded in. So if you wanted to paint this up, really super detailed design there for that. And overall, just a really nice kind of design here. It has all the articulation of a general Mecha Musume kit. If you guys have ever built any from any other companies, you know kind of basically what to expect here with this. Also in that it is going to have like seam lines on a lot of these parts, especially on the limbs, the legs here. You've got seams on some of these parts, and on the arms as well. You got this little mini shield on the back of this arm right there. And of course, we got our different face options, the happy face, the more happy and looking off to the side, and then the kind of little bit kind of face there. So you got those. We've got all of our different myriad of hand parts available in flesh tone and in black. For those, you've got all kinds of expressive hands, closed fists, holding hands, as well as these kind of shadow puppets, dog head hands like that, and these kind of singing rock hands there, sort of like that. And for her unarmored mode, we've got just the bare skin arms and legs as well. The bare skin legs, I should say, not bare as in like our bare skin, but the unarmored just skin legs here also have just the bare feet, so you have the toes molded into those. You also have a set of the legs here in black as well. If you wanted to build those, these are just kind of spare parts, but you have all the parts to make them in black, as well as making these shoes. So you have this other alternate kind of pair of shoes there with the ribbon on there. You of course also have parts for the hair when the helmet is not on, for just a set of bangs here, and then these parts which have a little ball joint and hinge there at the top for these parts that kind of hang off the front side of her head right there. For some other accessories, we've got her microphone with the ribbon on that as well. We've got this little kind of like bird lizard kind of thing, which I think is just, I mean, that's what you see is what you get. That's basically it. Doesn't really do anything, but it's just a little accessory. And then for another accessory here, we've got this kind of frog phone, kind of is what it looks like. It's like this weird lizard frog kind of smartphone sort of looking thing. And then speaking of the visor, you do also have an alternate part there for that, another clear green part. If you want to have the visor up and like across the top of the helmet there and not in front of her eyes, you can just swap that part out. Then for some other weaponry that she can hold here, we've got the kind of standard gun pod. Now this of course can be held by her or by the VF itself when it's transformed into its Gerwalk or Batroid form. So just pretty simple there. You are going to have a seam line there on that, of course. And then we've also got the carrot speaker pod. Now this one you may be noticing doesn't doesn't look very much like a carrot because it's in the wrong color. You actually have the parts, and the manual actually shows you to build 2 of them. The orange version is right here on the bottom of the VF, so you can use either one. They're exactly the same, except that you'll notice that this part right here is going to be a little bit different for those. And even if you didn't want to have the little lizard dude on there, you do actually have the alternate part there for that, so you could swap that if you want, but I'm just gonna pop this off of here for the moment for our purposes. But yeah, you do have 2 of these. Anyway, this one has a handle which will fold down here at the bottom. It's pretty tight. Once you get that folded down, then you can hold it in the hand like that. This does also fold up, but not necessarily, so you pull that apart, and then there's another fold out part up here. I'm gonna rotate this piece around, and there's a little peg that then plugs onto the top of there like that, and then it's your carrot speaker pod gun there like that, and does look very cool, I have to say. So as for this portion of the kit only, the only thing that I think it's really missing, honestly, would maybe be a stand. It would have been nice if this kit included some sort of stand, either for this or for the VF, which we'll get into here in just a moment. But I honestly personally wouldn't mind at all if they would have just sold just this here just as a kit without the VF, and then maybe had a different version like the DX version, which comes with the VF, and then you can of course combine them and do a whole other thing. Because if this is was the kit just as it is like this, this would be something that'd be much more appealing to me personally, and you guys can share your thoughts down in the comment section below. It's definitely nice to have the VF, and the stuff that you can do with that just means that there's so much more that you can do with what you have in the box. It's basically like having 2 kits in a box that can be 2 kits on their own, or you can combine them together, and we'll get more into that. But just what I mean to say is that this kit on its own, I feel like, is a full kit just in and of itself, and so if they were to make this as its own kit, I think people wouldn't be disappointed. I would certainly be one who would be interested in buying just this on its own as a model kit. So I think this kit is really cool. Like if you're a fan of the character, but you still want some of the variable fighter like styling to it, she has her armored mode, which has the folded up fighter on her backpack, and then even just like the armored arms and legs, the helmet and everything. So you still get that vibe while having, I mean, it's Mecha Musume. That's like exactly what Mecha Musume is. And so I think this is a really, really good representation of that, integrating the mecha aspects into this female character girl design here. So in her armored state, she looks very cool. And then for the unarmored mode as well, there's a lot of fun that you can have with that. You know, like I said, if you're just a fan of the character, you just want a little model kit there of Ranka Lee that you can play around with, pose, and do whatever. So and I think if we're only talking about just this half of the kit on its own, I think it already feels complete. But of course, we have a whole other half of this set to talk about, so let's go ahead then and talk a little bit about the VF-25F. Now, as it is just straight assembled out of the box without the stickers or anything on it, it is going to just have a lot of white space. If you did want to use the stickers, that is going to cover a lot of the design and everything. That said, there is also a lot of molded detail in there. Be careful of these little wings. As you can see, I just popped that one out accidentally. But there's a lot of detail there, as you can see, so once this is painted, or at the very least just panel lined, it's going to be looking very nice. The clear part there for the canopy, also very cool. We've got the fold speakers on here, which I think are really cool accessories there under the wing. And then of course there in the center is where we can plug our carrot speaker pod. Once you fold the handle back in, you can plug that right there in the center. And it's all folded up for a really nice looking fighter mode here for this. I do really like the look of it. Just as a model kit on its own, we do have some other accessories. It'll just be other parts, like just for the transformation, you have some different like mechanical bits. And the arms, actually, because the arms for the Gerwalk or a Batroid mode are not actually folded up, so you will have to do some part swapping. It's not a full complete transformation here with this one like the Bandai model kits. So here is your arms that you'll just kind of swap out for the kind of dummy parts that are in there at the moment. And since we're on the topic, we might as well talk about hand option parts for, again, when you're in Gerwalk mode or Batroid mode. You've got closed fists there, you've got your weapon holding hands here, you've also got those same like singing expressive hands like that, and then you've also got just some open hands like this. Otherwise, like I said, it's just some different like connection bits and parts that you'll have to use for the transformation, so just make sure you hang on to these. This part here, for example, has this kind of cool star pattern there in it. That's meant to go in the leg when it's folded down into Gerwalk mode. That's where Ranka's feet will plug into, so you have a kind of little personalized pattern there on that part. Is cool. But again, since we don't have any kind of base included, and you also don't have any landing gear with this, there's not really much that you can do with it just as is, just to have it like sat there. So you have to plug this onto some sort of action base just right here in the center of that pod if you want to have this actually posed up. So if you're a fan of keeping the VF in its fighter mode, I think it does look great in that mode. And again, you basically have two kits in one, so you can have your VF and fighter mode, and whether you want to display them together or not is totally up to you, but I think together they could look really nice, or just as totally separate models, again, like having two different model kits in the package. But of course, once we transform it into Gerwalk mode, that is your first option as for making the two kits kind of into one solid kit. As far as now being able to mount Ranka onto the VF in its Gerwalk mode, it also frees up the arms of the VF so that you can also have that holding weapons as well. It gives you a lot more options, and I think is a really cool mode there. The transformation, honestly, not that bad. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of parts forming required, but it's still pretty straightforward, I feel like. It takes a little bit more work to get it transformed into Batroid mode, but of course, that's going to be sort of like your ultimate form between the two, where your two kits really become like one single kit. So if you're wanting to get this set, to get this model, and have it just as one single thing, I think this is probably your best looking option there. As of course is like what's featured on the box art, so this is probably what you're hoping to build it as. But I think, you know, between the two other different forms that you have with this, you know, we're having them separately, where, as I was saying before, Ranka Lee and just her, everything that you have just like with her could have been its own set on its own. So having them separated as like two different model kits, or having Ranka riding on it in Gerwalk mode, or combining it all together, you know, obviously you have just a lot of options that you can do with this, and that certainly gives it a ton of value. So I know that these kits can be a little bit expensive here from Aoshima, but obviously, you know, what you're getting with this is just a lot of different options, things that you can do with it. The kit, in terms of just like the quality of it, nothing really seems to be like it would be an issue as far as like getting loose if you do want to kind of transform it back and forth a couple times. I mean, obviously it's still not a toy at the end of the day. I wouldn't recommend messing around with it too much, but I think you would be totally fine as far as like the quality of the model kit goes, in terms of transforming it, you know, a few times here and there, back and forth. You're not going to notice stuff like getting really loose or anything possibly breaking on you. I think it's still a pretty sturdy and solid kit that you would be just fine, you know, playing around with it a little bit. It should hold up without too much issue. Now, obviously, otherwise, as far as the model kit goes, there's a lot of painting to be done in order to get it to be color accurate to like what you see on the box art. That shouldn't be as too much of a surprise, though, I feel like. Otherwise, it is really nicely detailed. You are going to have some seam lines on there, but that's also something that I feel like shouldn't be much of a surprise. If you're getting this kit, you should kind of know what you're getting into with that. But if you're a Macross fan and you are a fan of the Mecha Musume genre of model kits, then these kits are really great. I can't recommend them enough. I know they have that new big one that was just announced at Shizuoka Hobby Show. It was just shown at Shizuoka Hobby Show recently, which is the like Destroid, I believe it is. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be getting that one and reviewing it. If you guys would like to see a review of that, let me know. Yeah, I'll definitely consider that. But after reviewing a few of these, I feel like you guys should have a pretty good idea what to expect if you are interested in checking these kits out for yourself. If you do want to check out some of these kits or any other similar mecha model kits, mecha Musume model kits, or anything like that, of course, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of different stuff like that for you guys there, including these kits, so check those out. If you would also like to like and or subscribe while you're here, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys all so much for your support. Until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.